These are unprecedented times in professional wrestling, everyone. A couple of years ago, if someone even brought up the idea of WWE potentially being 100% McMahon free, no trace to be found in 2024, those people would have been called nuts. Whoever brought that up. And let me tell you, that's a real possibility. Vince is gone. Stephanie is gone. Shane is gone. Maybe. Isn't he? And soon guys like Triple H, Shawn Michaels, The Rock, and more that have been so close to the McMahon family may be gone if they end up implicated in all of this Vince McMahon scandal stuff. My educated hunch is that it goes far, far beyond any of the Janel Grant or even Ashley Massaro stuff. Even deeper and darker than the things I personally know of. And if you watch my channel, you know I talk a lot about all of the deep, dark stuff McMahon has done that most people out there wouldn't even consider a possibility. But that's changing, and quickly, because as more and more information comes out on this, and more former employees and talents of the WWF and in later years WWE step forward to voice their truths on what they saw, experienced, or both during their time as an employee of Vincent Kennedy McMahon, more and more people are starting to realize and say to themselves, well, hey, I think there's really something to this, and it's sicker than they're leading on that it is. And they're all correct. Yes. Yes, there is, and yes, it is. And a lot of our favorite stars from throughout the years that are still living are guilty along with Vince in some way or another, in one circumstance or another, it seems. Really, they have to be. That's the game. And to get anywhere in it, you've got to play. It's all right there in Triple H's lyrics to his theme song, In Plain Sight. And my question is, and therefore the topic of this video is, what happens after all of those dominoes fall? What happens after the WWE name is so badly destroyed that it's more of a liability than anything? Honestly, as each day passes, it becomes more clear to the public that's exactly what it is. A huge liability at this point. It feels like it's been constant drama and headaches for TKO ever since they purchased WWE. But what happens when all of the public's heroes that conspired with Vince in his evil, dirty deeds fall down beside him? We've already seen it with Brock Lesnar. Now we're hearing rumblings about John Cena and some inappropriate actions regarding Alex Riley. We're not going to get into those here on this video. But if you know, you know. And there's so many others that could potentially be involved with this stuff aside from Brock and Cena. The Undertaker, Triple H and Stephanie, of course, Shane McMahon, The Rock, Shawn Michaels. Like we mentioned all of those guys earlier. And yes, we can even go back as far as the guys like Hulk Hogan. So, let's just theorize this for entertainment purposes and say that Triple H and Shawn Michaels both step down tomorrow from their positions within WWE. At that point, you would think anyone closely tied with Vince McMahon or Triple H and Stephanie are out of the company, right? At least on the surface. No, not really. You've got decades-long employee and business partner of McMahon's, Hollywood Dwayne, on the TKO board now. And Dwayne has his own huge set of issues himself, just waiting to be uncovered, allegedly, that don't even concern Vince McMahon anyways. So that's more future drama knocking at the doorstep of TKO. Dumb move, putting Rocky on the board. And then, the jury's out on any other current and active stars besides Brock Lesnar that was involved with all of this stuff Vince was doing. I mean, are there more huge, legendary stars about to take the fall? Common sense would tell us, yeah, probably. So what do you do if you're TKO after you lose Vince McMahon? You lose your creative head in Triple H and your head of NXT in Shawn Michaels. You lose, who knows, maybe a few, maybe many wrestlers after all of this stuff completely shakes out. Maybe some of your very top guys, maybe a bunch of them. All of that stuff alone would be extremely damaging to WWE, to say the least. Could they come back from it though? Maybe. But the stink of all of this and what it will leave behind on the name and legacy of WWE leads me to believe that one day, and that one day could be really soon, there will be no such thing as WWE. I just don't see a reality where they keep that brand, knowing what I know will come out on its long, long history of corruption. Will what we know today as WWE even be a company at all in a few years? As crazy as it sounds, it could be a possibility that TKO closes the wrestling division entirely once the dust settles. But the likelihood of that is, I'm 50-50 on that ever happening. But as far as the WWE name goes, I'm convinced that it's cooked, personally. And even if TKO renames the company, it still won't completely rid them of that stink that Vince McMahon and the WWE legacy will leave behind on them. It's like spraying a little Febreze on a pile of crap. It won't make that crap stink any less, my guys. So my theory is that the days of the mega corporate machine wrestling company are over. The days of a single conglomerate running a monopoly over the business of pro wrestling and slowly killing it and everyone in it are over. WWE, or whatever it's called, years from now, if it's even still around, will never reach the same heights it once did again. At least, not in the United States it won't. Whether they can grow and make their business primarily in foreign countries like Saudi Arabia, where they're already profiting significantly off of their deals with them, has yet to be seen. Yeah, they probably can, honestly. And if, you'll probably see more and more of their events take place over there if they choose to continue on after all this is over, I think. And I don't want to hear that it's not that serious in the comments from those that want to disagree, because you don't know the half of it. And yes, it is that serious. And no, I don't think Tony Khan will be able to capitalize and grow AEW significantly off of this WWE downfall. Not without some serious changes to how he runs that place. And when I say that, I mean in almost every way he runs the company. I've talked a lot about Tony Khan here on the channel, especially when I first started the channel up. If you're interested in hearing in detail what I think about him, please check those out. I really believe, and hope as well, honestly, that professional wrestling returns to a more territory feel after this is all said and done. A more spread out group of smaller companies, headquartered in various places across the country, each delivering their own twist on pro wrestling so each fan can find something to their taste. Talent jumping from company to company more often, creating a wider variety of match possibilities and generating interest amongst fans as each move takes place. A shift more back towards the live event experience, an effort put towards making that a priority again. I don't know. That's just me though, guys. Personally, I would love to see wrestling actually be a fun thing to watch again. Some really creative minds coming in with actual stories and character ideas to share with us would be amazing to see as well. But what do you say about all of this? You know, these are unprecedented times, as I said, and at this point I believe anything can happen. What's your thoughts, though? Chime in on the discussion and comments with what you think professional wrestling will look like after the potential persecution of Vince McMahon and his gang.